Okay, the next essential question is, how do you graph a step function? Now, step function is pretty much like a piecewise function. The only difference is that it looks like a staircase, okay? So let's look at this example and go from there, right? So the example says the shipping cost of items purchased from an online store is dependent on the weight of the item. So right there is telling you right away that the shipping cost is X, which is your input, and the weight of the items is Y, which is the output. The table represents shipping cost Y based on the weight X. Graph the function. What are the domain and range of the function, and what are the maximum and minimum values? So it's asking us 3 questions. The first one is, how do we graph the function? Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at the input, and the output, it's pretty much telling us the restriction. So this is basically telling us the rule, the restriction. All right, well, the shipping cost is $5. So we're gonna go ahead and put a dot at $5, which is right there. Now, however, it's telling us that $5 is a flat fee between 0 to 2 pounds. Now notice that one of them doesn't have an equal sign and the other one does have an equal sign. So we're gonna create a flat constant line from 0 to 2. However, at 0, we're gonna have an open circle. So I'm gonna start at 5 and I'm gonna have an open circle at 0. And I'm gonna go all the way to 2. And at 2, I have a closed circle, which I'm gonna draw right now. Perfect. So that is telling us that the shipping cost of $5, oops, sorry, that is in the incorrect spot. That should be at 5, which is right here. So open circle and then close circle. Cool. All right, now that is correct, we got to jump to 8. And A is telling us that we only want it from 2 to 4. But again, at 2, we're going to have an open circle. And at 4, we're going to have a closed circle. So I'm going to jump up to 8. And I'm going to start at 2 with an open circle. And I'm going to run all the way to 4 with a closed circle. Perfect. All right. Then we're going to jump up to 11, and we're going to go from 4 to 6. Again, at 4, I'm going to have an open circle, and at 6, I'm going to have a closed circle. So I'm going to jump to 11, and I'm going to start at 4 with an open circle. I'm going to run all the way to 6 and end it with a closed circle. And then finally, the last one, I'm going to jump to 14, and we're going to start at 6 with an open circle, and we're going to close at 8 with a closed circle. So 14, 6 with an open circle, and then finish at 8 with a closed circle. Now notice that it looks like a staircase, which means this is a step function, and that is how you're going to be graphing the step function. Now, the second question is asking you for the domain and range of the function, and this is where it does get a little bit difficult for a lot of people. So what is the domain? Well, the domain, as we know, is left to right. Okay, well, we got to look for my left boundary. The left boundary is right there, exactly at 0, because we're looking at the X values right now. So my left boundary is at 0. Now, notice that it kind of disconnects, but here's how I want you to think of it. Notice that right here, there's an open and closed circle. When you look at your domain, you're looking from left to right, not up and down. So from left to right, think of it as this. There's an open circle and there's a closed circle. which means that the closed circle is gonna fill in the hole. So technically, even though one of them is open, the closed one closes it, which means that your domain continues. That happens here, that happens here, and it finishes here, which means that your domain doesn't stop. It starts at 0 and it ends at your right boundary, which is 8. So your domain is 0 to 8 with a bracket because there's a closed circle at 8. Okay, so notice that I'm using parentheses for open circle and I'm using bracket for closed circle. Now, what is my range? Well, range is from bottom to top. And if you look at this graph from bottom to top, it actually disconnects. I might raise the red just so it doesn't confuse you. So from bottom to top, the function actually disconnects. There's this space in between each staircase, which means that your domain is not continuous. So we got to write the domain based on its values, which means that we're going to write the domain as a list. So the first domain is at 5, and then at 8, and then it jumps to 11, and then finally the last one jumps to 14, which means that your range is 5, 8, 11, 14. That is your range for this function. Finally, what is the maximum and minimum values? You can clearly see that your maximum value is 14, and you can clearly see that your minimum value is 5. Basically, I'm looking for the lowest number and the highest number.